battery did not charge. Okay. So this is the setup, and we're ready to start playing Hunt for Blackbeard here. The first, and I'm probably going to go shopping today, so I'm not going to get through the game probably over the course of the day. I've shuffled the decks, and the first thing that happens, and this is really an important point, or an important decision point in the game, is that each player draws their tiles. Now remember, these things are going to be behind the screens, and they're going to be facing across the board so that Blackbeard has a view of all these. And we may rotate the board. It's a nice thick board, it can handle it. In order to play the Blackbeard's turns themselves. I'm not going to flip the Hunter's chit yet, because I want to make the decision of where the camp is without whatever information that may give me. There's absolutely no reason for me to have that information. So I have two things here. Oops. I also have a loot marker, and I have 5 of these. Hold on. These have a couple of interesting aspects to them. Both of them require showing. This allows me to use a taken loot, and I would generate 4 money from it. That's a nice card for me because it means I don't have to do piracy. Whereas this, now this I can do in any town. This one I can only do in Cape Hatteras, which is here. And it would take 3, it would only take 2 cubes, whereas this one takes 3. You only show on the last cube when you actually get the advantage. And it would produce maybe not, probably not as much as this, because I think these loot markers only come in 1s and 2s. So this is somewhat appealing. They both require I show the ship, and neither one allows me to use Blackbeard nor Israel for it. So I'd actually need to have the ship. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this one that generates more money and gets me towards the pirate's life where I don't have as much risk. And what that means is, see now, here's a danger. I'm going to reveal to some extent where my port is if I play this relatively quickly. This is any town. It looks like, you know, maybe I want to hide down here, but it really doesn't matter, except for from this guy. He can be less of an issue. Bathtown is an important town with a lot of things in it. That might seem a more valuable place. Now, when I set camp, I can put it in any anchorage, light brown space. Historically, this was where he went. That's unfortunately relatively close to the ocean connection here. Core Banks is more interesting, I think. I'm going to go to Core Bank. No, that's not Anchorage. I'm going to actually go to this Machapunga Bluff. And how do I do this? Well, I open this bag. Open up all of these will also be behind the Blackbeard screen, along with these pools of pieces, along with this. It's important that your enemy does not know what's kicking around out there that you don't have, and any of these that you withdraw will be behind the screen. So I was going to make this one, and what I do is I simply, actually, technically, it's this one that's there. So that's got the adventure and the camp barrel. And now we come over here and we draw the tile for here, and in any towns and anchorages I've got up to 4 searches. Eden is the governor of North Carolina. This is Jude Mosley, who's apparently an Eden rival. He actually ends up getting arrested and serving time for this whole thing, because what Virginia was, well, what he was involved in was in trying to capture information on both Blackbeard and on Governor Eden was illegally pursued. Now we're going to get to do interviewing. I want to switch batteries and take care of a couple of things. Yeah. So here we come to the first point in the game where the secrecy and the hiddenness is going to cause some sort of challenge to me. There are... So this guy can search the towns. There's not going to be anything interesting in the towns. But in the anchorages, those could be the bases. There are 10 anchorages. I brought a D10 down to help me resolve that. And I'm going to come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And search them. I get number 6. So that's 4, 5, 6. I get to peek at this. I see seagulls. And now I've got a bit of a problem. I have to remember that that's not a base. And to do that, you wouldn't be able to do this yourself, but I'm going to put a little white marker there. Until I find the base, these are going to help me remember what locations the base could be in that I have not looked at. And I mark one of these. There are 4 that I can do. I'll do another one. Now there's only 9. 8, that would be this one. That is also not a base. And I proceed. Oh, I shouldn't have put that there. Not have been my optimal choices of where to look and whatnot. And that's one of the problems. Playing at solitaire, I'm being forced to do that. I took all 4 searches, didn't find the base. Okay. Now it's Blackbeard's time. Blackbeard's time. So, planned piracy is sort of the last thing I want to do. But I've got like 3 of these that I could do that with. I can always buy these, so I don't need to. I think I can always buy them. Let's take a quick look. Yes. Which may mean that this is not a bad turn to reveal things. The problem with that is, if I do reveal, I show something. So if I want to go to a town, and right now, we'll tilt this. Right now I'm here, If I want to go to a town, it'll cost me 2 sailings. I don't want to expose where my ship was. I have to do it at the end of a turn, though. So if I expose where my ship was, and this is Bathtown, he would have information that I have just shown at Bathtown. Now, Take On Stores could do that. This could do it. No, this won't show. This could do it. So far, we're at 3 cubes for each. This would only take 2 cubes. This would only take 2 cubes. Well, nothing's going to take less than 2 cubes. So if there's a show, I know that the pirates played at least 2 cubes, maybe 3, in order to do something. Which then means that his sailing capacity is either 2 or 3 away from there. Which creates sort of a circle around which something could be done. Now, when you show, $13, $18, $19. Oh, I'm looking for the rules on showing. Here, many tiles say show. When the final cube is placed, lay the block at the map space that was found. So it would be clear that Blackbeard was there. The adventure was there. I keep wanting to call it the Revenge. He was on the Revenge. He was also on Queen Anne's Revenge. Well, he captained that. Another option, there is no other option I could do. There are things there that could show Blackbeard or Isaiah. So actually, yeah, I'm not able to use those though. So they're kind of no real import to this. So the important thing that would happen is that this would show that the ship was there at the end of the turn, which lets me know where it is. And it would also let the Brits know that my base is within range of those things. I think it's worth it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to sail 2 spaces. Let's record those. I leave here. I sail here. And then I sail into here. And that puts me in a position where I can conduct the piracy that I want to do, which will be these 3. Now these don't exactly fit in. This is going to give me some cash. I don't have anything that I can buy any defenses with. If I had been able to use either Isaiah or Blackbeard for this, it would have been better, because I could have then bought that capability and used that and used my sailing to move elsewhere. So right off the bat, I'm making my decision to go for a pirate's life, because I like the chit that I have there. Now, that puts me back to the hunters who can't see the board. And they've been looking away while I've taken my turn. Now the hunters can commandeer asset tiles or scout sail and march? I know nothing at this point. I've got to make a decision as to how much of this I want to buy. I think I want to spend all 3 of my pips on building up my forces, which is complicated, but you know, I'm going to have to make an assessment there as to what's going to help me the most. Right now, I know absolutely nothing about what Blackbeard's doing. I don't know that he sailed to. I don't know that he's sold cargo. I don't know any of that. All I know is that he's completed his turn and that I did not find his base in the 4 spaces I searched. An assessment on all the pieces, really, under this situation. So Captain Gordon could do arrests with a lot more dice. That makes him very powerful. This is kind of the send 200 men with him and not just rely on getting locals to help. Skilled helm. This would give me a big jump at the beginning of the game. I sail out here. I sail to an open ocean, and then I get a movement that allows me a lot of power. It's an appealing piece. Lieutenant Maynard, Jane itself gets an extra die. I don't really appeal, that one doesn't appeal to me. Scout multiple spaces for both of them. Extra hands for Jane. This is more appealing than that. I'm going to put this up there a little bit. Probably won't use it. Cannons for the Ranger. You can't use Chain and Grape if you don't have cannons. This only affects fire, though. Same for Jane. Canoes. I can buy these elsewhere. Definitely not a strong choice right now. The Ranger gets more dice, but not as high as Jane. So when it says max 3 or max 2, that's for any battle that you have. So if I have both the Jane and the Ranger together, they already have 2 dice. So doing this is really something else. And gaining one of these might not have those maxes. Brand may scout 2 spaces. I don't think that's all that useful to me. And Chain and Grape, that gives me the option to use either of these. Okay. So this, if I take these 3, it's basically saying I am counting on Brand to capture them. But I'm not moving away from the James River this turn. So I will have the capability of doing these at another point. So the hunters have completed. They can't do any spotting from where they are. There's nothing they can see. And I don't want to reveal that I haven't moved. Well, no, I reveal that I haven't moved anyway, if these guys are all open. Never mind. There are no encounters. After that, Blackbeard, in the right location, fires off his 3. I get 3 cubes, which stay in here. And these cubes are behind the line as well. And I take cubes equal to my taken loot, which is 2, plus 2 more, so I get 4 more cubes here. And a lot more cash to do things with. This goes away into the cup after that's been done. And I expose that my ship is there. That's a big piece of information. And now we go to the second turn. There are only 4 turns in the game. This, I spent, because I'm explaining stuff and everything, about as much time maybe as you would actually spend on this first turn. Even on a first play, probably. Therefore, it's going to be a fast game. Anyway, I just want to show that all out. It's all about this sort of a couple of decisions and a couple of guesses that you make, and a couple of bluffs or whatever that are in play. But that's all there is. It's not. Now, I feel about this similarly to how I feel so far with this about Mark Herman's Fort Sumter game, which was like a really minimalist CDG. And I usually really dislike those minimalist CDGs, but I thought he did a good job on it in getting such a light, short, tight game to work and give a decent narrative and everything. And this, I feel, given what it's, what the decision space is in it, the amount of choices that you have, and the information revealed and whatnot, it's a nice short game. That's my impression so far. I'm not going to be able to give a really good view over it because I'm not playing it opposed. It's going to be the most fun. It's only going to really be fun, I think, if you're playing with all that uncertainty and all that bluffing and all that, and not playing with, I'm going to roll a die to see which locations I find. Because these were not the optimal choices, I would think. This is a horrible place for a base. It's right near the land forces, and it's far from the biggest location. Roanoke wouldn't be a bad choice, but I feel like everything on this side is really kind of questionable. This might not be so bad, and it might have a surprise factor to it, right? If I was rolling, and this may have a huge surprise factor to it too. What if the hunters choose not to use their land troops? Well, if they use their land troops, they're almost certainly going to make it to Roanoke, just to be near Bathtown and whatnot. But if they choose not to use them, this is an incredible shocker. I wouldn't go for it. I would say that is the one place that is a horrible choice. But because it is the worst choice, it might be worth it if you really think the enemy's not going to... and we did nothing to help our ground troops, did we? Oh, no, we gave them Captain Gordon. And we could spend pawns marching as well. All right. At some point, we're supposed to clean up. Let's take a look at the end turn stuff, which will bring the pawns back. Okay. So pawns go back. This is flipped over. I used him. He's done. He still stays there to mark the fact that I've gone a turn. That's my turn record sheet. This stays as is, but I get my pawns back. There are no surveil markers on place. This stays there as the hunters. I do still know where he was, and it provides me with an interesting thing. I know, if I study things, that the base is on this side. So I only have 3 base locations to look at anymore. I'm going to break there. I think we can get this all played on one video, to tell you the truth. And I think go shopping. That was my plan for the day. And it hasn't gotten too late and too hot. And then I don't know, maybe we will finish this today. And for those of you, again, who are miserable about Mr. President, I'm really sorry. Not about missing it. Nobody seems to really want, nobody of my normal viewers seems to really want me to be playing that. But honestly, I really did want to explore that game. And I'm going to be a while on it. It is a monster game for its type. I had a pretty good outcome. I went shopping, which I intended to do, but you never know with me. But I kind of had to. I was out of ham. And needed some other things, but I didn't need very much. So my load was relatively light, which is really important. The cost was light too, but that kind of didn't matter. Which means I'm not all that fatigued right now. I also left early in the day. I got out of the house around 10, which means I got home before it got too warm, around 1. And, well, everything was stowed away by 1. And, you know, it hadn't even hit 80 yet. It's supposed to get close to 90 today. All right. So normally, both sides would draw their tiles. On the first turn of the game, I drew the pirate tiles but didn't draw the informant tile. But now, I'm going to hold off. I mean, I caught up once both players, you know, needed them. But this time, in order to play solo, the hunter has to pull his informant first. I want to do that before I pull any of the Blackbeard tiles because I don't want to pollute my knowledge. I've also been away for a while, so I don't have a lot of information. I do have the places I searched for a base and know that those don't contain the base. I only have 4 turns. That's key here. So oh, this is a big one. I can search 4 anchorages. Now, the bases have to be in the anchorages, right? Yeah. So now I've got another shot. The last one, oh shit. The last one I cheated in. Fuck. All right. Let's swap these. Because I cheated and pulled anchorages. We'll just swap these. This would have been, the move I did would have been legal. I thought, oh, I can just do whatever. Yeah. So this is actually kind of the most effective thing to draw first. I thought something was wrong there. So we'll go with this one. Now here, I can search towns and anchorages. There's a big problem with this. What I really want is to be able to search the sound and catch him if he sails out and be able to search other things. I'm actually not going to do any searches because this doesn't help me at all. Although I could do 1 anchorage. That might be helpful to learn where the base is. So there's 1, 2, 3 that the base could be at. I'm going to go for that. Because these others I've already searched. Blackbeard does not know where I've searched. He's looking away right now. And I'm going to search this one over here. Again, things that I'm doing here are to make it kind of solo playable. I peek at it, I turn it back. These notches on the board are really helpful. Not just, you know, in some sort of, oh, it gives a little bit more sturdiness. There's barely an issue with that. But what I'm very worried about is that if they weren't there, somebody could place a piece a little crooked or something and get information from that. Maybe even inadvertently. Or the hunter could accidentally place something. Now, this is kind of a shitty thing because I did use this up, but I wanted to hunt the base. Now we go to Blackbeard himself. It's going to be his turn next. I need to know these. This is 2 shows, and I've already got a lot of cubes here. This is a stow booty. This is a problem. I have to go to the camp. I have to expend 4 tokens for it. But worse, I need a taken loot, and I used my taken loot up. This is making my choice more iffy. There is a special capability, isn't there? Maybe it's not a special capability. I thought there was one that allowed me to swap. I don't think there is. Maybe there's a capability that allows me to swap out one of my tiles, I guess. Which, this one's going to be very tricky unless I get a loot somewhere. Now, where was Cape Hatteras? It's out here. It's an interesting option. These are less things, and I would get a loot and then be able to do this at my camp. I don't know that the hunters have covered so many of my possible campsites and kind of know where they are. I do know that he's excluded all of these, though, by what I did. Okay. So now I plan any piracy I want to do. I prepare defense and I sail. I have a decent amount of gold. I'm going to get gold from things like this if I end up doing any of those. I don't know if I want to. I'm kind of worried that I need to build up a force, because this is, now I've only got 3 out of 7 of these. Quick note, I don't have a use for Blackbeard or Israel hands on any of these. So those become very uninteresting pieces. And again, all of this is behind the screen that I'm doing. Philip Morton is very nice. He allows me to fire first, and then if I hit the sloops, I take a die away. The sample game over there, they pick this up. This gives a die roll bonus on the escape or arrest. That may not matter because I'm in danger of being arrested because I haven't escaped yet, right? Swivel guns, not as interesting as this, but also cheaper. Grenados, useful. And then these increase additional hits. Let me think what I want to buy. So, hunters are looking away. Whatever they're doing. This is one of the icky things in the game, is the having to look away for large portions of the game while the other person preps their stuff. It does get rid of the need for like a double map or anything like that. And obviously, you know, any kind of double blind game like this where somebody's looking away from the map, you could cheat all over the place. So there's nothing that's really going to prevent cheating. You have to trust your opponent, you know, which I think most of us would, but I've played against a couple of people that I know I couldn't trust, and this would not be a fun game against them. I've decided to buy 3 of these things. These just go away. I have a ton of money. I'm going for a lot of combat capability. I'm going to play my additional 2 on sailing, not collecting up any cubes, because I couldn't buy all this equipment and get to where I want to go. Now, this gets replaced, and it's not face up because there's not a search marker. As I sail 1 through here, I get to keep this here because I'm sailing through it, and 2 to here. And that is my turn. I've prepped the map. it's got everything that it's supposed to in place. Okay. And things are kind of nice. The location that I've got as my camp is kind of close to the places that I've drawn that I could do piracy. I'm not committed to piracy yet, but this feels like it's an okay choice. That's going to move me down to the hunters. Now, the hunters are in a position where they can buy more stuff, they can sail, but unfortunately for me though, I don't have any information about which way the pirates went. Now, the pirates are able to sail a full 5 spaces if they want. So, I really don't know. I want to explore near where I can go. So what I'm looking at is possibly 3 things for sailing. We'll talk about that later because I might end up buying a capability that allows me to sail more. Oh no, 4 things for sailing. Because I got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That is my shortest trip in, and that's kind of what I'm planning on doing. Now, I'm going to look through my purchases and see if there's anything I particularly want in addition. What have I got in here? I have a lot of hunters with him. Oh, I already have this. Okay, ocean or sound. So I'd sail 1, 2, and then I would actually have 3 sails that I could make from there. Very interesting. Okay. But I need some searches. So what did I say? 1, 2, only 3 of these need to be used. I would like to keep some searches, but I also have to think about, see, this loops may scout 2 spaces for 2. I'm beginning to wonder if that's all that valuable for me. I would like to do a couple of searches, there's no question of that. And then that means that all I really have is 1 more. So I'm going to look through these, see what I can do that can help me a lot. The problem is there's a couple that I would like, and I'm also ignoring the land situation. Why am I ignoring the land situation? Because it's quite far down where things were going on, down here, and I know his base is probably out here in the water. So, I'm interested in this. This gives me +1 die for all actions, but the max is 3 dice. Now, I get 2 dice for my 2 ships. +1 gets me to 3 dice, but this would be really useful too, to create hits on the rigging to prevent an escape, or the crew to improve my boarding chances. I really want both of them. So I buy these 2. I'm not thrilled about this. I'm not going to get to do as many searches as I wanted to. Now, and this is open, I move 1 to here. I move 2 to here. To here, Okanoke. I could use this capability to move more, no, not that capability. Where's the capability? This, to move more spaces. I really want to hit this space. And then I'm allowed to, so I will be Let's check this again. I couldn't scout before I moved. Looking at the sequence of play, this is not as helpful as it should be. Hunters then use the remaining pawns to commandeer asset tiles or scout, sail, and march with their pieces. The hunters openly spot where their pieces scout or end a move. Before and then after completing all sailing, the hunters may scout, openly spot, one space per piece for one pawn each. Jane Ranger and Bran may each spot their own space or one space adjacent to them. Any hunters may scout adjacent by land or water. The hunters may see the results of the scouting, then openly scout, sail, and march. We get another scouting attempt, and this is what pisses me off. I'm not seeing... There we go. May use remaining pawns to scout. Now, but when I end movement, I can openly scout. Do I want to be where I am? I don't think so. I know he had to move through here. Now, he could have bought silence and cleared that, and that would have foiled me. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a sail to move 3 spaces to here. Now I get an open scouting. That reveals this. Now, scouting is page 4. We've just gotten a sighting, and we can spot a spot adjacent to it by a water route. There are a lot of options here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I honestly have no reason to believe one over the other because I don't know what he has. So we're going to start here with a die roll. Well, we picked this one. Look, we found him. I can't do anything about that yet, but we did just find him. This was a free spotting. So, I have kept one more marker. I finished my move. I can't go with him again. I could move him, I think. Not positive about that. But instead, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend my other scout here. Now this is open spotting still. So I'll spend my other one here and I find the base. I didn't know it was there. I thought I had it back here actually. Well, that's potent. Since I openly did that, we can put this on there. I will know this for the rest of the game. I can get rid of these. They don't matter. I might have some other use for blank counters, you know, for handling my solo play. I did not get a sighting, so I don't get to continue out from that. We're not in a battle or a rest. So we flip back to the sequence of play. And I could be using this instead of the rulebook, but this is busy and complicated. And I feel like I need to know the game better for this to really help me. I have trouble handling a lot of iconography and whatnot. Am I missing something here? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to surveil any places. Since these are open spots, no. I think I can only do that when I'm using an informant. So I don't think there's much else that I can do here. I don't think there's anything else I can do here. I take these off the spaces. This flips down. Let's check that end phase and make sure. Why don't we go over here? End phase isn't on here. Well, that blows. Maybe it tells me enough here. End game and victory by piracy. Hunters, flip any informants used, clear these things. All come off the board. That's 2 turns done. Let me make sure I got everything in the end phase here. Clear the sailed, no careened marker from Blackbeards. Remove all hits from sloops. Yeah, we're on the 3rd turn here. And oop, there's another one. 7 of them. That means we will move to the 3rd turn. And I'm going to just put this here. And I'm going to break for a little bit. It's clunky how I'm moving around and whatnot. It's okay. All of these are going to turn up when Blackbeard does his next move. Now I could, and I think should, put this here. But it's going to come off the board. In fact, it comes off the board during the end turn, doesn't it? Where was this? Maybe not. I don't know when they officially clear. Let's take a look at end turn. Maybe that was when it actually is supposed to happen. Clear all pawns from their maps in the map. No. Which means it has to happen during the Blackbeard action. Set aside pirate pieces that are on the map. Yeah. So technically this is here right now. It really doesn't make much difference because by the time I get to do anything, you know, I've already got it marked with this, right? You could say the same with this, but the camp's not going anywhere. So I know the camp's there for the rest of the game. Blackbeard doesn't even know I'm hunting him because the escape hasn't happened yet. Something felt wrong. I've got this on the 3rd. It shouldn't be. It should be on the 2nd. We're going into the 3rd turn now. Again, for the same reasons. We're going to flip an informant, but only that. I can do 2 land and 2 sounds max. Might want to. All right. I know where the ship is right now. He can go out to deep sea. my ships are in the Sound. Conceivably, I don't need a whole lot of pips anymore because there's all this here. Let's say I play these. These are done hidden. This hasn't been replaced yet, but that's okay. And there aren't any others. Just making sure. So, he could just sit there. I can't tell if he sits there or goes to sea if he does that. But here's what I can do. I can search for things, and I can leave these on them. And this is important because I can block stuff. This is a Sound. Put it face up. This is a Sound. He can go out to sea. If he goes out to sea, he could make it to land here. I don't really want to do that. Do I want to watch the land space he's in? Yeah, we'll do that as well. So I'm going to spend 3 of those 4. Keep the rest of the pawns for movement. Hope for the best. This may or may not work. I'm not really familiar with how well the system, operates with certain things. Now we go to Blackbeard, and we want to flip these. The Seas Piracy. Okay, this is a problem. I get sick. I need to hire a doctor for this, and it doesn't help me to flee. Like, Blackbeard can't just run away and leave his ship. If the ship is captured, I'm done. Now, Blackbeard doesn't add anything to the fleet. Like, him being gone doesn't hurt anything. But this puts me in an ugly position. Now, I get to turn things up. That gets turned up. These do not. I'm only allowed a 3 sail. Now, he doesn't know that. And I'm going to need a lot of shit to make it through. Like, I could get 6 out of 10 with this. Now, he has to be at a town or camp to do this. I know that the camp's been discovered, hence this is here. I could buy myself a longboat, which would allow me to put Blackbeard to any 3 spaces from camp. Up here. And then I could actually buy this and get the advantage out of that. That's probably wise. I already have so many here. Problem is, this is going to be almost undoable. So I will have to complete a fair amount probably from whatever's 4th. So if I buy longboat for 1 gold, and I count on this, well, there's a problem. I can only sail that far. Maybe I don't buy longboat. Maybe longboat's not a good idea. I'm only allowed to sail 3. He doesn't know this. This doesn't have a show. I can't get to a town here. I could sail right through. That would be spotted if I do. That doesn't sound like a great idea. Um, the problem is if I don't fill this in, I'm in trouble. Maybe I just want to fight. Maybe that's my best move. If I spend 2 on sailing and 3 here, we sail through this, leaving that there, and move our boat up here. This stays like this. He knows we went through here, but he can't stop us or anything. And that gets us, we got the 3 gold for that, which we can't do yet. I don't think this is going to work. Can't grab it over here. We played those 3 already. Can't buy anything. But what I would like to do is figure out what happened. He sailed through here. Where could he go from there? He could go here, here, or here. Each of my sloops can scout locations. I don't know where he went. Is there any reason? I do know he went into here. I know he didn't go back here, or else there would be a sailed through there. That would be a really, you could do tricky shit like that. There's basically 4 places he could have gone. 2 that I'm going to prioritize. This one as a town and this one as the camp. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do searches. These are done secretly. Where do I put these search markers? Do I put them right on the board? That would indicate where something is searched. That would not work well. Hold on. Right on the board. So yeah, I openly scout. I get to see this. He wasn't there. He didn't go this way. I've got that trapped. So now, I don't know if, yeah, I had it right. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get a D10 and use that. One, 2, 3. We got this search. Oh look, we found him. This is interesting. I've got 2 moves. I've got him bottled up in there. I could sail in. I have a 3rd die. I have firepower. I only did 2 searches, so I could do 2 more searches after, but there's nothing to search for anymore. This is not going to help me. So I basically have a couple of combat counters that I could do. But what I could do instead is move to here. Now I get my end of turn. This is flipped up. At Queen Anne's Creek. I didn't expect to see anything there, but that's okay. And I'm not sure this was wise. I'm not sure for either side what's wise, right? Over here, we spend 3 gold on this, and we put them on here. So now I've got 6 out of 10 done. The end phase, Hunters flip any informants used. That's this. These come off. These come off. And the sick comes off. That's no longer there. Which puts us back to the beginning here. Now it does feel kind of annoying that I can't catch somebody as he's going through. That I can't stop Blackbeard. But that puts us back to the beginning. Again, I'm going to pull the informant first. It might have been better just to move in and guarantee that I get an attack. I get these bumboat peddlers. 3 anchorages, 1 sound. I put that there. Sorry, I put that here. And I will track this sound. Do I care about the anchorages? I will know if he went through here. But then the question is, what else do I want to know? Do I want to block any of these anchorages off? There are 4 anchorages that he could come through here. There's another sound. I know exactly where he is. I know everything about him that I can know at this point. But I want to know if he goes through any of these. Well, let's keep him out of the camp instead. So what did I do? 3 anchorages, 1 sound. That's going to put it on Blackbeard. And he can't turn these up, but these turn up. And I'm moving out of there. I did not draw my chits yet. So last 2. There's no way I can do piracy. So screw that. I need to get to either Bath or my camp. I am in Bath. So I could still booty, but I can't do that. So that's not going to do anything. I've got 6 out of 12. That is precisely half. I actually don't need to do anything else. But this produces free defenses. And I have the money for it. The problem is, this guy could hammer and anvil me. Where I have to fight a combination of both forces. That I don't like. So what I want to do is I want to hide. I've got enough victory that I win the game if I successfully hide. So what do I do? One, that's there. We don't want to cut through anywhere that's searched. This is dangerous as hell. Odd, even. 2, we go here. We'll put this back here. put this up here. That means we don't want to go this way. So 3 to here. I got 2 more sailings. I can either go along the coast up here, or I can go down that way. Odd even. We'll go this way. 1, 2. We end up here. We look at these, and we get another one here. Whoops. So we've left a lot of trail. We've used up all of our movement. We will win if we're not caught, because we have half. If we were playing the option where we need over half, this would be problematic. If we had gone for this, we'd be better at fighting. The problem is my base and Bathtown are both within range of that guy, and relatively close for searching. It felt like too risky an option to buckle down and fight, and it would have been, because he has a whole bunch of arrest dice, which would be, and I haven't escaped, so like if a 6 is rolled, I'm lost. So that's my best move there. Now, it's over. Let me explain why. I only have 3 pawns. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Because I have sloops may move 2... no, sorry. I have this. An Ocean Sound, I could move 3 spaces. So I could sail 1, 2, and then make it to there from the... oh, I'm in a sound. I actually have a good movement. Yeah. If I can figure out where he went, I have a chance of finding him. So what do I know? I know that he either stayed here, would be stupid, but might make sense. I need to keep 1 token for sailing or movement or something, or I don't have any chance at all. I don't know how many sails he had. He might be sick and not able to move all his pieces or whatever. So I know he didn't go through this. I know he went through that. Now he could have doubled back. He did not go through here. So it's one of those 2. I am going to search odd even. If it's even, I'm fucked. It's even. I searched this. I found nothing. I know he went up here. The most now, because I did that search, is that I could move 3 spaces, which could get me there and get to where Blackbeard actually is. What are my chances? Pretty low. So I have absolutely no idea where Blackbeard went. I need to sail my 2 sloops together because they're useful. Let's mark the places he could have gone to. Because wherever he could have gone to, I might be able to hit. And let's look at places I can reach. So from here, I can reach 1, 2, 3. I can reach either of these. 1, 2, 3. I can reach here. I can certainly reach there. Hold on. I can reach here. I can reach here. I can reach here. There are places I can reach that don't matter. Could he have gotten out in this area? That's an interesting question. So he came from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is about as far as I think he can reach. So that is the set of possible locations. He can't reach here. Now, it's possible that I split up Blackbeard and put him somewhere else, but it doesn't matter. If I can catch the ship, I catch the ship. So we're looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different locations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is what we're going to do. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to aim for this one. That only requires one sail. I still have a pawn left. So I'm interested in this location. If he sailed through that location, if I search, I can find him. So if that's what I'm counting on, I play here. I found him. Well, I found traces of him. Finding traces of him means that I can spot a space adjacent to it by water. We know he's not here now. Which means I have a further search, which can't go here. This is the only place that I can further search that I don't already know about. We get a further search. Now I've got a problem. There's 1, 2, 3 places that he could have gone to. Now I know he's not here, so we'll take that away. He couldn't have gotten doubled back there from what he did. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We search this one, and we find something. Now that makes it almost certain that it's here. Could he have gotten somewhere else? Maybe. But now, I know where he went. And now, I move, because I'm coming out of a sound, 1, 2, 3 to here. I probably should have searched, probably should not have searched this. I don't know. Wherever I'm going, I could find him. So I'd still have like a 50-50 chance of discovering him unless he was here, but I could get there too. So yeah, I'd still have a chance to look for him wherever he is. But I did find him through that trail. And that means we go to the final step of the game, which is the encounter. I spent my movement to get here. Put it there because whatever. So I don't get confused and think, oh, I had another pawn. I could have moved closer. I don't know. For the encounter, we're at a battle because nobody is a land unit. We're going to have to fish out some dice before we get to the actual battle. I'm going to do that in a bit, but I want to point some things out. Let's say I was playing in that harder version for Blackbeard where he had to get more than half and this wouldn't win him the game. Then he's in an interesting position where he might want to put his ship where it could get caught very easily. And what's interesting about that, and maybe I could do a double thing. Maybe I could have done this and still be in risk of being caught. And this would have actually been good because I'd have more attacks. But I might have wanted to put myself somewhere like there in the hopes of getting caught, even if I'm not as likely to win a battle. Maybe I think those two sloops could beat me up. because I have no other way of winning the game. The only way of winning the game I'd have at that point would be to have them come in, try to attack me, and fail. This is where, there's just like layers on layers of bluffing and just weird stuff where the only way I can win is to get myself caught. Feels odd, but yeah, it would be the case under those circumstances. Would this be worth doing and count on this guy not chasing me? I don't know, maybe. Oh, this should be up, actually, for whatever that matters. There was no way, I could have snuck Blackbeard into there, but that wouldn't, or possibly. Yeah, I could have, but that wouldn't do me any good. So anyway, we come to the battle. There's no arrest stage here because there's no ground forces of either type, none of the little men. Which means, we can put this here, because it's there. We're hitting this. And Blackbeard has to declare his things first. Let's get this shit out of the way. Because none of this is owned, and none of this is owned. Well, Blackbeard wants to do the best he can, so he will declare Philip Morton, and these will be placed outside of the screen. The grape shot, and we don't worry about the grenados because that doesn't happen yet. Okay, and then we get to place ours that might have some effect, which are Maynard, and the chain and grape. Okay. Blackbeard gets first fire. He has 2 dice for his ship, plus nothing. Threes and fours are going to hit crew. That's not terribly useful to me. I have to look here or on a player aid to see what I need to get rigging. So I got a 2 and a 6. A 6 is a rigging hit. Is there one ship that's better than the other? Yeah, if I look carefully, the Jane is actually the better ship. So technically I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to record this. If I lay the ships down, I can put a rigging hit on the Jane. I did not get any grape. Now we shoot back here, and we have 2 dice base for the 2 ships. The rigging hit doesn't affect me. Well, it does, actually. It gets rid of a die. So I have 1 die for the ships. I get +1 die for this, and 3s and 4s can hit rigging or crew. I am worried about him escaping. Especially since I have a rigging hit. So I will go for rigging. I get 2 5s. 5s are crew hits. I am allowed to do 2 crew hits on Blackbeard's ship. That cancels out his base firepower. Now it's time for an escape. Where were we? Right. We're allowed to declare more tiles. This doesn't help me with escape. It gives me a bonus if I do escape. And we're going to be rolling at the same time. I have a base of 2 dice for Blackbeard. He only took crew hits. Those just affect boarding. I really want to escape. The rigging hit takes away 1. So I get 1 die for escape for the, I don't know, it's the Ranger or something like that. But I get another die for Maynard as well. Do I have anything else that helps me? I don't believe so. So it's 2 dice versus 2 dice. Ties would be 1 if this was playing with the automatic dice victory by the hunters in this case. So if we were playing without the roll of the dice. There is a tie. An escape was not made. I don't think that affects that. But that means that I have the option to fight him. Now, I don't know whether or not he can win. This is the same situation as before. He's run away quite hard. He may not have enough counters. I might take the escape on like a 1 in 6 chance and just say, screw it, I'm not going to try to defeat him. My boarding situation is very good though, so I'm going to stick around anyway. So we go to the boarding. He did not win the escape, so there's no reason or value to playing this. He has no more counters to play. Blackbeard would get 2 dice, but he doesn't, because he took 2 crew hits. So he has no boarding dice. Whereas over here, we get 2 dice for the ships, a 3rd die for Le Maynard, and obviously, we've got dice, he doesn't. We're going to capture him. And so that's the end of the game. Playing it solo is weird, I have to say. But I get the feeling that this game is going to feel weird to anyone. Just because it's so dense in terms of the guesswork and the bluffing and all that, there's so many different compacted versions of it. Now you could get a situation where you can, get your line of discoveries, and that's great. But that may not always happen. Where you're able to, discover enough information where you can track somebody down. Here, it came down to the very last turn. Blackbeard barely is winning if he's left alone, and it comes down to the dice off. Or, had it not been a dice off, it would have been an automatic success, right? Because we had the same number of dice for the escape roll, and we would have ended up in the same position. The combat rolls are going to happen no matter what. So everything happened the same as if the auto roll, the most dice wins would have happened, because firing always has to happen with the dice. But anyway, it's an intriguing little game, and I could see playing it a number of times in like a couple of, in a sitting or a couple of sittings. And then it kind of falling off the radar, Not that it would be a less interesting little guessing game or whatever. Just that, Anyway, we're going to send this up with the playthrough, and I guess it deserves a review as well. To that, I want to talk about one more thing. I had a suspicion, which has turned out to have no support that I was hoping to find, that the person who contacted me about my address was maybe on the staff or involved in here. He is not. So that was kind of a maybe it's kind of a both things. It is sent to me by this person who asked for my address, and he's got some involvement in directing these games. I unfortunately don't think I still have the sheet that indicated you know, whether it was bought, you know, where it was bought from or whatever. But I'm not sure that would matter. I don't know. It may have just been mailing information, but that would have been a clue as well towards this. Anyway, up it goes, and then we do review.